right, welcome into Chalk Talk Social. It is Tuesday, October 7th, and Mark Sanchez is a felon. What the hell is going on there?
Austin, it's got to be the Coke or the Modelo's, man. One or the other, man. One or the other.
Either he was swimming or snowboarding, something going wrong in what he was ingesting. But hey, it is a crazy story. Obviously, I think everyone's heard of it at this point. If you haven't, Mark Sanchez clearly got a little shitty on something. Decided to get a little disruptive over a parking spot. Decided to tear a 63-year-old man out of his truck. Just started to beat the shit out of this 63-year-old man, got pepper sprayed by a dude, and then started getting stabbed by a dude. And a turn of offense, then Mark Sanchez finds himself in the hospital getting arrested and now is facing felony charges. I saw up to 6 years in prison, allegedly.
Listen,
I don't think it'll happen, but
I don't know, Austin. I mean, and just the matter of you're going to be police officer and end up turning to getting maced and stabbed is crazy, which I come from the street, and I've seen wilder events happen, but I would figure an ex-NFL guy could hold his own against a 63-year-old guy. But I guess when that knife out is over for you, so yeah.
He didn't bring anything to a knife fight, so besides being drunk. And hey, I don't know what. I think his stints of broadcasting are done. His stints on FS are done. I just hope he's got that. I hope everyone's all right for one, and I hope Mark Sanchez has someone who can touch up his LinkedIn and resume for him because he's going to need it. It would appear that he's not long for broadcasting at this point anymore. There's just no way.
Yeah, even though I think it'd be kind of TV if they kind of bring him back just to even talk about it, maybe. But I'm with you. He's probably fired by now. But
yeah,
that would
in this day and age where everyone is 10-ply soft, there's no way they're going to let him back on the TV for a while. At least for a while. He might be back down the road. You know, with how the news cycle is, you'll forget about Mark Sanchez ever did this in about 2 days. So,
for sure.
Yeah, we'll see how it goes. Anyways, per usual, on a Tuesday episode, we got the top 10 and 10. Swear to Lord, we're getting in 10 minutes this week, I think. Maybe, hopefully. But we got some baseball rolling right now. I'm going to obviously cover some things on my Brewers. Right now, we're looking the Dodgers go up 2-0 on the Phillies. Blue Jays are up 2-0 on the Yankees. Brewers, Cubs now tied after 2 first-inning home runs. The Cubs get a first-inning home run again. And the Brewers followed up with a first-inning home run of their own to tie it up 3-3. Just unbelievable. I don't know why the hell the Brewers are pitching a reliever to start the game, but real hot start there. Let's get into the top 10 and 10, though. The top 10 headlines from the weekend in under 10 minutes. Let's kick off the show. Ready, set, go. At number 1, the Texas Longhorns playoff hopes officially die in the swamps of Florida this week behind another disappointing Arch Manning performance. Texas becomes the first team in 14 years to start the season as the AP number 1 team and fall out of the top 25. They did it all within 7 weeks. Let's be clear. We were all fooled by the nepotism here with Arch Manning because this kid, he flat out is just not that good. Steve Spurrier called it. Y'all already calling him a Heisman, but why is he sitting behind Quinn Ewers all these years? You know, he hides one unbelievable throw between 5 throws that make you wonder how the kid ever made it to a D1 program. Iman, what's number 2?
Number 2, Penn State. Hey, the grease was hot this weekend in LA. Suffers an absolute bad loss to UCLA this weekend. And UCLA was considered a bad team in the Big Ten. And I don't want to say it's Drew Aller's fault and the offense fault because I thought they played well, but the defense no way should be giving up that many points, that many yards to a UCLA team who the offensive coordinator didn't even know he was calling plays until Wednesday. So they weren't even really prepared for Penn State, but maybe that 2-hour, 3-hour, 4-hour flight kind of cooked them. But I think it's time. The time is now. The fork is in them. The fat lady singing. The grease is hot. It is over for James Franklin after this embarrassing loss this weekend to a unranked bad UCLA.
Winless UCLA. Yeah, time to pay that buyout. All right, number 3, the Philadelphia Eagles get handed their first loss of the season after trying to switch up the game plan a little bit to please A.J. Brown with a more pass-heavy game plan. Entering this game, the Denver Broncos, who they played and Denver beat them, The Denver Broncos entered this game 2-112 when trailing by 14 plus points to enter the fourth quarter. They ended up winning this game trailing 14 to start the fourth quarter. It's pretty criminal that Saquon Barkley finished with 6 carries. That's wrong. Jail time. AJ Brown finished with another terrible line. He was half-assing a route on a deep ball that he should have got. That would have been a dagger. He kind of stopped running his route at the top. The ball sails over him. So all of his bitching kind of led up to that moment. Vibes are just toast with AJ Brown and the Eagles at this point. They can't get him the damn ball. He's doing his thing with being a drama wide receiver again. Just trade the guy. The Eagles, funny enough, have been outgained in every single game this season. Let that sink in. They've only got one loss. We've been outgained every game. The only other teams that have been outgained every other game this season have been Baltimore, Cincinnati, Tennessee, and Pittsburgh. So I'm not sure how for real this Eagles teams are. What's next?
Mayday, 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 mayday. I am yelling mayday up here in Baltimore. Ravens, we fall again to the Houston Texans. 44-10, and just a horrible outing from this team. Listen, we're past panic mode. We're past code red. We are officially done. And this is my thing. I don't want to hear people keep saying we got people hurt. We're playing with backups. You got drafted in the NFL just like everybody else. You were the best in college. You're getting paid fucking millions to go out there and tackle, hit. But I think it's time for Zach Orr. Hey, brother, your pink slip should have been given to you this morning. But it looks like we're about to suffer our worst season in a long time with the Ravens because this historically bad defense, 177 points through 5 games. 177 in 5 games, and that's compared to the 2000, was considered one of the best defensive teams ever, maybe with the 85 Bears and the Steel Curtain Steelers. Didn't give up 165 in 16 games. Zach Orr, defense, time to zip you the fuck up. Y'all are out of here. Y'all are bad. We're gone, John Harper. We need to get rid of everybody, period. But mayday, mayday, we are crashing, and we might not survive.
Off-season blow-up incoming. Yep. Up next, we got Drake Maye and the Patriots go on the road to hand the Buffalo Bills their first loss of the season after a damn near perfect output, mixing in some pretty incredible throws by Drake Maye. I said it on the last show. This guy's a dark horse MVP candidate. Anyone not talking about Drake Maye as a potential, not saying he is, but as a potential MVP candidate at this point is just clearly not watching the game or staying present on data. He's been that good, and he's passing the eye test in every game he's playing. He just went and pissed in the tall grass with the big dogs playing against Buffalo here in Buffalo. He had his officially to beat the man. You got to be the man. You got to beat the man game against Josh Allen, presumably the best quarterback in ball right now. He's looking like the steal of the 24 draft at pick 3 with Caleb Williams going before him. Jaden Daniels is looking good, but Drake Maye at pick 3 looking like a steal. He's looking like the best of the 3 at this point. It's not really close. So good for him. Stephon Diggs popped off on his revenge game with a 10-catch game in his first, becoming the first Patriot since Julian Edelman to have back-to-back 100-yard games. What is next?
Next up, Jets become the first team in history to start 0-5 with recording not one single takeaway in your first 5 games. They suffered another loss to the Dallas Cowboys this weekend, 37-22. It is looking bad for Aaron Glenn. You know how they say he's sitting in the hot seat? His seat is about 102 degrees right now, and I'm not saying he can't sit down in it, but it's starting to get hotter and hotter because the one thing that we thought Aaron Glenn was going to bring to the Jets this year is toughness, organization, and a defense, which that team neither has none. That team looks like one of the worst teams just schematically in the NFL right now. And honestly, Justin Fields is not playing bad, but I just don't think you can win when you got Justin Fields throwing 40 times a game and Breland Hall's only running the ball under 15 carries. I just don't think that's the system that you need with that bad defense. So hopefully they can get on board. But hey, listen, Aaron Glenn, the Jets are not known to hold on to coaches for too long, brother. So you better turn it around or you will be gone too.
Yep. Hey, this weekend in baseball coming up next, we had the Brewers beat the life out of the Cubs, needing only 2 innings to score 9 runs and steal game 1 in Milwaukee. Cubs fans, I think that would have been, if I was a Cubs fan or just knowing what a Brewers fan would have been in a reverse situation, that would have been hell on earth, living through that, knowing that rivalry and that fan base is in the same stadium gets real crazy. The Cubs led it off with a leadoff home run just for the Brewers to turn around and just hang 9 on the board in the next 2 innings. Look, the Brewers bats are capable of piling up runs at will in any game, and the pitching staff is just about as reliable as it gets. We're sitting here, it's game 2 as we record this. It is 3-3 right now in the top of second. Already the bats are alive yet again to start this game. And, I'm just, it's going to really come down to the Cubs have the pitching to keep the Brewers bats down for long enough, because they're going to have to pitch pretty damn perfect, or they're going to have to hope the Brewers pitching just suddenly collapses. Either way, not an ideal start for the Cubs to lose game 1 in Milwaukee. I don't know if Joey, if you got anything you want to come on and add really quick about this series.
Well, first off, they just flashed on the screen that this is the first time in history they've scored 15 runs in the first inning of each combined of these games in the NLDS, which is crazy. Wow. But no, you said it, that this Cubs offense can get hot, and that's what's really exciting. Suzuki, who was a big signing a few years ago, has been inching his way, getting used to MLB ball, and now has found his zone, and he just let off the game 2 with a homer. Mm-hmm. So it's really the question of, can the Cubs pitching stack up? And as much as I'm a bleed Cubby Blue, their injuries are a lot right now, and I don't know if their pitching can stack up. Their offense, though, however, helped them, and they were able to take down what's probably one of the best bullpens in baseball in San Diego. So I still have my hope, of course, and I hate all teams from Wisconsin, so I will happily, hopefully, watch more home runs be hit this series in blue and not navy.
Yep. Thanks, Joey. Yep, and the Brewers are pulling their reliever that they put into the game to start game 2. They're pulling in a new pitcher already as was planned. All right, what's up next, Iman?
Next up, hey, New Yorkers, y'all are having a terrible weekend, and it's only getting worse. The Yankees suffer another loss in the ALDS series to the Blue Jays, getting their ass kicked. Now, granted, nobody expected them to have pitching coming in this playoffs. We all knew that was going to be a spot that they needed help there, but I'm asking all of these people who are on your TikTok and on your Instagram who said Judge was MVP, where the fuck is his bat at? Please tell me in any October where his bat is present. I'm looking at Aaron Judge and I'm putting it on him. His bat has been absent. His bat has not been around. His bat is still at fucking home. So all y'all fans that came at us on TikTok about him being MVP, don't try to blame the pitching now. Y'all never had good pitching this year. Where is Mr. 6'7", 260 power hitter at now? Yeah.
That's a big ass boy.
Listen, you guys will be eliminated, Yankees. Hey, New Yorkers, bad weekend for y'all, but you're going home because the Blue Jays is kicking y'all ass.
Yeah, hey, we're over the 10-minute mark. That's okay. Moving on to number 9, McLaren Racing wins back-to-back constructors titles in the F1 for the first time since 1991. And look, this one's an interesting storyline, really interesting. This team is kicking the shit out of everyone. But it's kind of crazy because they are no team on the grid that has more driver contention or drama, and it's being fueled by their CEO of racing, Zach Brown, more than anything, with his level of favoritism that he applies towards Lando Norris. Whereas if Oscar Piastri, who's arguably at this point might be their better driver, if he even breathes wrong on the track, they force him to give up a spot to Lando, let Lando win the race. It seems like they're trying to sabotage Oscar from winning the Drivers' Championship this year. It almost seems obvious at this point. And Piastri it seems pretty obvious. The second he has a chance to get up and leave this team, he is going to do it. He seemed pissed. They won a title. He turned off the mic in his helmet when Zach Brown was congratulating him on the title. He didn't flash a smile. It didn't seem like when they were doing the little championship thing. There's a lot of racing left, but there is a lot of drama. And if you don't know F1 racing, there's 2 drivers on every team, and each driver is like, they might as well be rivals, right? Because they're always fighting to be the number 1 driver. And McLaren's got 2 amazing drivers, and they cannot figure out how the fuck to manage either of them. It is so contentious and hot in that locker room. So it's impressive that they are just dominating this much with this much drama going around the drivers that they're self-inflicting. They're not figuring out, but congrats to them on winning that constructor's title. What's number 10? Iman wrapped up.
Last. We're going to finish with 10. Alex Poatan regains his lightweight UFC light heavyweight UFC title this weekend after he's defeated Magomed Ankalaev after he lost to him last year and got his title took. He told everybody he wasn't healthy. He had a broken hand. He won first round TKO, minute and 20. He hit him with a right hand, got to the ground, and then it was over for Magomed. So, I'm glad to see him back now. But Dana White, I am pleading and I am begging you, Dana White, can we set it up? John Bones Jones versus Poatan in the White House. Please, please, please. We want to see that fight. But salute to Alex Pereira for regaining his title with that mean right hand.
Absolutely. All right. That is the top 10 and 10. Not our best showing, but still good. Still good. A lot of things we could really dive into. Obviously, baseball is hot right now. The Yankees are just blowing it at this point. I don't remember. I think Judge had, to your Judge point, I think he had 3 hits the other game, 2 hits, but they were crawling back from behind. He had a huge blunder in the field. Huge blunder early in that game, too, that really cost the Yankees early on there. The one thing I wanted to add to the Jets thing that you added that you were talking about with Justin Fields, he's having an okay season when you think about it. Compared to Justin Fields' previous season and what the Jets have had at quarterback in previous years. The thing about Justin Fields, man, he's 0-26 as a starter in games where the other team scores 21 plus points. That's crazy. You want to talk about a guy who you cannot rely on to bring you back or not rely on to win a high-scoring shootout type of game? Justin Fields might be the epitome of the one guy you do not want at quarterback.
Exactly. But I also say, Austin, with those type of numbers, that should let Aaron Glenn understand that, listen, let's slow this game down. Let's put the ball in Breece Hall's hand. Let's let Justin Fields actually have more runs where the game can just slow down, because if we give these offense too many possessions, we know he's not going to score 30. So we got to slow this game down and figure this thing out, because, I mean, goodness grief. And like I said, he's not playing that bad. I think he's playing. I never thought he was that good. Now, let's be clear.
No, he's not.
I don't even think he's top 15, top 20 quarterback, but he's playing decent enough where he can get wins. I feel bad for Garrett Wilson. He's an awesome receiver. I'm not lying. He's in
an okay year.
Listen,
he's in an okay year.
And just some of the plays he's making, I'm like, shit, we can use that in Dallas. But Justin Fields. I guess Pittsburgh knew what they were doing.
Yep.
Hey,
let's start there let's start there for the topics to expand on. Let's start with the Jets, right? Because if you get online for 5 seconds, you just type in Jets, all you're going to see is Jets fans saying, this is the worst Jets in history. This is a lock for an 0-17 team. This is what, just open Twitter and type in Jets. You're not going to find one fan who disagrees with that sentiment. And I had to look into it. I think it's worth diving into because the Jets have some pretty shitty damn teams lately. But right now, I don't think it's the worst Jets team ever, but it's inching closer and closer by the week. And I think the one thing that you have to look at in terms of look, you can look at data and you can look at stats. I'm happy to crack into it. But if you look at their win probability charts for every single game, they're almost instantly below a 50% win probability to jump right off the get-go. And then the graph just keeps going down and down and down for them. It never spikes up in favor of the Jets as a trend forward that they might win this game, besides one blip from a miracle play that Will McDonald made, in the sense that they're instantly starting from behind, and then the whole game is essentially just trending for them to keep. It's just getting worse and worse and worse for them the entire game. And on the Justin Fields point, he's surprisingly not been the biggest problem at this point. He's still running like an RB1, that's for sure. And mind you, I think the thing with Justin Fields is you look at his numbers, you're like, oh, he hasn't thrown an interceptions at all yet this season, and he's passing for a bit of yards. He has a 100.1 passer rating, which is so far the best in his career, but his 46 QBR, I believe, is 22nd in the NFL, is a real testament to the fact that he is doing very little to add to the Jets' expected points per play. That's kind of what that stat is about, and is doing very little in terms of the reason why, where the credit goes for the success of a play, which is another thing that goes into QBR. So he's doing next to nothing in that line. So when you think about his actual contributions, A lot of his yards and production is coming from fourth quarter, late game, dump off short shit. I think he's averaging like 6 yards, 6.8 yards a pass. It's not great right now. So, like you said about Breece, he's doing nice. They lost Braylon Allen. He's doing nice. Garrett Wilson's putting up some seriously nice numbers, which like Garrett Wilson's numbers are better than he ever had with Aaron Rodgers. Granted, he had one season with it. But they've been utter dog shit on third down conversions, 34%. So there's a lot going wrong with the Jets. I don't know. What's been kind of your biggest takeaway? Is this the worst Jets you've seen?
No, hell no. That's not the worst Jets seen. I've been around a long time. I've seen worse. But now I do understand this. So I tell people all the time, they're going to keep recycling coaches in and out. They're going to keep recycling quarterbacks in and out. When are they going to start saying, hey, owners, you need to go find somebody who want to buy this team? Management stinks over there. Ownership stinks over there. The Jets are becoming a graveyard. Look at, Sam Darnold had success outside of them in Minnesota, having success in Seattle right now. Just last year, Aaron Rodgers is in Pittsburgh, where they have some type of structure, consistency in what they're doing and how they're the way they're going to play football. He's doing well now. I could keep going down the line of quarterbacks that's been there, players that's been there, and I just think a lot right now is on the owner, GMs, management, because it's looking like a graveyard. Because, we thought Aaron Glenn was going to be a good coach. We really did. They have the talent. It's getting worse, though. The first game of the year, they played tight. It's getting worse. I watched the one game last week. It was just penalty after penalty after penalty. And at this point, delay of games in the NFL to me is just like terrible. Like, why are you getting delay of games? Get the play in. I won't say it's the worst because they have talent. That Zach Wilson Jets team wasn't good before they brought Aaron Rodgers. That Zach Wilson just recently. That Zach Wilson wasn't good. Trying to think before Rex Ryan.
2021 was pretty shitty. 2020, the whole Rex Ryan, man.
Rex Ryan had him good, but see, once again, they didn't do enough to keep Rex Ryan happy and keep him in New York. Just let him keep building defensive teams. Getting back to Mark Sanchez, I call back. He was his quarterback with the butt fumble. So if you would have gave him an elite quarterback, who knows what you would have been able to do. But no, I don't think they're the worst Jets team I've ever seen, but right now they're looking like between them and Oakland might be the worst teams in the NFL right now, though.
Yeah, and you would expect that with Aaron Glenn, he was a good DB in his pro career, right? And Sauce Gardner, a lot of people are like, he's not improving, he's not getting better. If anything, he's going the wrong way.
Yeah, he's digressing.
Yeah. And so that's been, I think, to me, been one of the most surprising things. I know they lost one of their cornerbacks to free agency this offseason, but look, the Jets allowed the third fewest yards last season and right now are allowing the eighth most, primarily to a struggling run defense. They're 26th in yards allowed per play. Get this. Last season, they finished second. The season before, first. And in 2022, second. So this defense has regressed horribly from the Robert Saleh era to the Aaron Glenn era. They've actually improved in opponent time of possession. So it's not like the opponents just got the ball all game long. So they've improved there. And there's a ton of things, actually, when you just look at, again, just from a raw data perspective, they're actually middle of the pack, which is mostly a downgrade on the defensive side compared to the last 2 years, but offensively is an upgrade. So I can't sit here and say it's the worst. Granted, the offensive improvements are because of they're having to go crazy in the second half. This team is putting up 6.8 points in the first half of games. It's horrible. One of the worst first half scoring teams in football, which has forced them in the second half to just get crazy and pass around. They're scoring 15.6 points a game in the second half, which is fourth best in the NFL right now. But like I said, if you just look at that win probability chart, that kind of tells the story of everything. They start from behind. It looks bad off the jump, and it keeps getting worse. It keeps trending away and away and away and away from the Jets. So it's not like, they're just spiking up and like, oh, this is a game. The Jets are really going to win this. It's more of they're just kind of in recovery mode.
Because that game Sunday wasn't close. If you looked at Dallas versus the Jets, that score looks a little – that game looked like it could have been a 50-6 win if Dallas would have kind of kept their foot on their necks. But defense kind of lacks a little bit in the second half. But, yeah, that wasn't close. So,
No. So I don't know. I'm not in the camp that this is the worst team. I think it's trending to be. I could see a world in which the Jets don't win a game this year. I could see, but at the same point, I can also Justin Fields has surprisingly done just enough in this offense to where Breece Hall is productive, Garrett Wilson is productive. He's getting the ball to the tight ends. I think they can. Like you said, they have talent. This is a team that can win. So I'm shocked that this defense cannot get right. It's kind of crazy. With Aaron Glenn especially, you thought there was going to be a lot of good stuff happening. So,
but you look at defenses that are doing good. Their superstars are doing well. Yeah. The Jets superstar is not playing well.
True.
And granted, if he doesn't want to be there, he might need to come out and say that. But you might need to give your money back because he's just not playing well. And I think superstars carry teams, and when they're not playing good, it's reflecting on the whole defense. So, yeah, Sauce, you got to kind of get that Sauce back, brother.
Yeah, hey, we saw Sauce in a cheese head when he came to Lambeau. We could make that happen. I think we could make that happen. Why don't we get him in a cheese head and in the green and gold, and let's get this career back on track, Sauce. Let's talk about it. Let's get that trade cooking up. Let's get you in a cheese head permanently, Sauce. Come on now. We could use it.
That would be cheating.
God damn it, would that be amazing? Oh my God. I would use I don't even know. I would have to buy the jersey. I need a Parsons jersey still, and I would make them my pillowcases or something. I would sleep with the Sauce Gardner Parsons jersey as my pillowcase every night, so it'd just be incredible. Let's say on NFL, though, another team where I think we need to kind of evaluate what are they really at this point is the Philadelphia Eagles. Are the Eagles, I'll let you start here. I don't know, but I got some things to say. I remind you, I am a backup Eagles fan. I've been my entire life. McNabb was my favorite player growing up since 2005. I've loved the Eagles. So this one kind of hurts me, but I've been thinking about it. Are the Eagles as scary as the record makes them out to be?
Yes. Austin, I still think the Eagles are, they have the best roster in the NFL. All right.
Defensively, do they?
Just period. When you just go top to bottom, special teams, offense, defense, not so much. I mean, because in today's NFL, defense is hard to play. I'm telling you now, defense is hard to play in the NFL. But I think top to bottoms, the Philadelphia Eagles are still the best team, not just in the NFC, in the NFL. You want to know why? Because they have the pedigree to win. They know how to win the close games. They know what it feels like when it comes to January, December, when the game's on the line. I just think they lost their identity with how they're running offense. And then I understand Jalen Hurts. I get A.J. Brown. We've already won a Super Bowl. We've already been to another one. Come on, man. I want to be a Hall of Famer. I want to affect the game, so I get it. But I think Philly has to get back what they do well. Giving the ball to Saquon. Letting Jalen have some more running. You cannot just wing the ball in the air. Y'all were up 17. That is the time where you feed Saquon Barkley 20 times, then Jalen, you run 15. So I just think they lost their identity, but let's be clear. They're still top. If they're not the best team in the NFL, they're maybe top 3 still. Just because they have so much talent.
They do, but I've seen a lot of really talented teams not win shit because they don't have an identity. They don't know how to use it, right? I'm not saying the Eagles don't know how to use it, but I don't see them as this is a scary team. This is an unbeatable team. This is a team that I don't want to see in the playoffs. Not right now. They're only averaging 261 yards a game on offense. That's the third fewest in the NFL right now. That's with only in this last game did they start getting away from the normal game plan of, again, Saquon had 6 carries this last week, and they tried to be like, all right, AJ, we're going to appease you. We're going to throw the shit out of the football. Devontae Smith is the only one who really made out on that one, kind of. AJ Brown they can't make it work with a superstar receiver. They have the third fewest passing yards this season. Jake Browning freaking only has 130 less passing yards than Jalen Hurts and 2 fewer starts right now. And the guy has done nothing but pass the ball to the other team. That's Jake Browning. So it's even with Hurts and Barkley still, and again, this last game was their first game of getting away from their normal running tendencies, heavy running tendencies. So even with Hurts and Barkley, they're 22nd in rush yards right now through 5 games. Something is just not clicking on this offensive side of the ball. And I know last year Sirianni was catching a ton of heat. They figured it out. I think the Eagles are still going to be fine. They're still going to be good. As of right now, Like, they just don't scare me. They're not getting any sacks on defense. They have 7 sacks on defense. They only have 7 total turnovers, I believe. Maybe it's even lower. They're only 4 teams have fewer sacks than their 7 sacks right now. They have only 5 turnovers, 3 picks, 2 fumbles. So they're not producing turnovers. They're not getting to the quarterback on defense. They don't have, like, Nolan Smith just got hurt again, which is unfortunate. They're bottom 12 in the league in both first downs produced and third down conversion percentage. They're also one of the most penalized teams in football this season. Something is just not right with the Eagles right now. But like you said, winning's winning. They're still finding, but besides the Broncos game, they blew that one, but they're still winning games. It just looked really not good.
And they're beating good teams too now. Let's be clear. They're beating good teams. Mm-hmm. They got great coaching too. I think Nick Sirianni doesn't get enough credit as he should. He's a winning coach. And granted, he's not super schematically with everything. I just think he's a culture shifter. He's not scared to get in his athlete's face, hold him accountable. And Vic Fangio is Vic Fangio. Now, I do want to get back on what you said. I think they let 2 pass rushers out to build them last year. That was on their Super Bowl team. Josh Sweat, he's with somebody else. And the other D tackle, the inside. Yeah, no, not Reddick. He's kind of short, stocky guy. I can't remember. I remember his name later. But they let him go out the window too. He got paid too somewhere else. But they let 2 guys go. So I do think the pass rush is hurting them. But listen, the Eagles know how to win. Mm-hmm. And like I said, I think Nick Sirianni is an awesome coach. I don't think he gets enough credit how good he is as a coach. So they'll get it together. And I mean, nobody in the NFC is running away, because I thought the Rams was better than what they were, and they lost to Mac Jones.
Mac Jones looked fucking good, man. What was that about?
They lost to Mac Jones, and yeah.
I don't know. And I guess the last thing I can say on the Eagles, again, I think they'll be fine. They just don't scare me right now. Nothing about the Eagles says this is a scary good football team that shouldn't be traveled with. I think their saving grace right now is they're not turning the football over. And they've still been really good in pass coverage right now, along the 2nd lowest completion percentage and 5th lowest QBR. Obviously, Cooper DeJean, amazing. Quinyon Mitchell, really good. So they're pretty set at cornerback, and that's helping them tremendously. And they're just not turning the ball over. So despite all the struggles, and it's just a weird offense that seems to have just lost its identity in terms of, you watch all these games, Devontae Smith and A.J. Brown, they got nothing on the stat sheet until the second half. And it's blowing my mind. I do not understand that. It's like the same exact situation in Cincinnati, where T. Higgins and Jamar Chase don't have shit on the stat line until the second half, but they have Jake Browning at quarterback, not Jalen Hurts. So I can understand in logic, and they have a much worse offensive line, far worse offensive line. So the Eagles have been kind of a weird one to me this year, man. But like you said with the NFC, and I think let's jump into that as our next topic then. Mm-hmm. No one in the NFC seems to be really dominant right now. The Buccaneers have had some really nice moments. They're dealing with some injuries, though, of course. The Rams, like you said, also flashing out of really nice moments. They just lost to Mac Jones. The Eagles are kind of, who the hell knows? The Packers have – don't get me started with the Packers right now, please. They seem like there's a lot to work with the Packers as well, but they're not blowing anyone away. They can't close the door on bad teams. So we can get into it. Who do you think is right now? I mean, let's think holistically, long term. The Lions are looking nice too again. But who is your kind of team in the NFC right now that you're like, I think that's the team that comes out of the NFC? Just based, let's think long term here, knowing that no one's really dominating right now.
Yeah, I think, and that's why I say this year may be the year for the Lions. I think the Lions, and I know, remember earlier in the year, I was riding Green Bay, riding high. Now, granted, I'm still behind Green Bay, is because I just think y'all are just immensely talented, but those DBs just scare me at a high level. And once again, I thought Micah Parsons would help them out, but like I said, I know him in big games. He's gonna go missing. So between the Packers and the Lions, I think the Lions have the best chance to kind of win the NFC right now, because they're just starting to click more on offense. The defense is getting better and better. Hopefully they can stay healthy. And they just have so much, just talent everywhere. everywhere. And Jared Goff, he's a quarterback that's done it before. He's been to Super Bowls. He's won the division before. He's right where he need to be. So I'm going to go with Detroit in a close second, Green Bay, just because I just think y'all are just gifted, and once again, Matt LaFleur is an underrated genius when it comes to offense.
For the most part.
Yeah.
He's been frustrating. He's very frustrating at times. And I appreciate that comment. It was very difficult for me to not take the Packers on this one. I'm not taking the Packers. I'm also not taking the Lions. The Lions were actually my number 2, very close number 2. Packers were my number 3, only because the Packers' issues with closing out against bad teams concerns me. The way that they kind of fold too often. The special teams is again back to who the fuck knows. You can't count on something to go wrong. You can always count on something to go wrong with the special teams that's going to screw you in a big game. There's just, like you said with Parsons, I think he'll be okay. I'm not confident in what we have. Keyshawn Nixon's playing his ass off as an outside corner. If he's still got any more doubters, they just need to shut up and go away. Keyshawn Nixon is balling out as an outside corner. It's the other side that's a problem. As much as I have a lot of faith in Carrington Valentine, I have a lot of struggles as what's going to happen with the slot guys. That's where we can get cooked. We got cooked last season with Javon Bullard in the slot. He's been incredible in the box and against the short stuff, against the run. He's incredible. The second you put him on a guy who's got a 40 time over 4.5, he's getting cooked. So we're going to need Nate Hobbs to come in huge there. So there's still some things as promising as it looks for Green Bay. Christian Watson, less than 280 days from tearing his ACL, is back to practicing. No braces, no sleeves. It is an incredible recovery time for him. He's coming back. Matthew Golden, Dobbs, you're going to get Reed back. So like you said, the talent is immense. Zach Thomas coming back at tackle. I think Green Bay is going to eventually probably end up being that team where you don't want to fuck with them in the playoffs. For right now, my team is the Rams. I'm going with the Rams. And I know they just lost. And like I said, it was between the Rams and Lions. So we're kind of on the same track with this one because the Lions have more impressive wins and they have more wins. They beat the Browns, and the Browns is considered the best defense in football right now. But when I'm breaking down, when I'm getting into it a little bit, I'm taking McVay over Dan Campbell every fucking day of the week. And I'm not even thinking twice about that choice.
For sure.
I'm taking Stafford. At the way Stafford's playing right now at an MVP level, I'm taking Stafford over Goff. At the end of the day, both those dudes are statues. So which statue is a little nicer to me? I like that Stafford statue because that Stafford statue is thrown to Puka and Devontae Adams, where the other guy is thrown to St. Brown. I'll take Puka over St. Brown, one. But then St. Brown and Jameson Williams, who's having a dog shit season, and he's already looking overpaid. So Puka and Adams compared to St. Brown and Williams as the 1-2 receivers, I'm taking that combo all day long. Both defenses have already been pretty equally stingy. Give them that. Both are getting to the quarterback at about the same clip. Both O-lines have surrendered about the same amount of sacks per game. Both have been pretty solid there. But the Rams are allowing the 3rd fewest yards per rush right now, 5th fewest yards per play, and Detroit has been a little bit more exploitable in their pass defense right now. They've been a bit shaky there. So if these teams squared up at full health in the playoffs, and we're only going based off what we've seen so far, those are kind of the reasons why I'm like, I would bet on the Rams to ultimately win that game, and that's what kind of pushes me over for those kind of reasons right there. But there's other ones, like the Rams are also second in yards per game right now. They're one of only 2 teams averaging 400 yards a game. Your ex-Cowboys are the other, with Dak having his great season. They have the best receiver in football. Puka is dominating. He's having a historic season for a receiver right now.
But Austin,
all right, talk to me. What do you got? What?
Austin, you cannot say the best receiver. First of all,
he's playing like the best receiver right now.
I'd rather you say that then. They don't have the best receiver in the NFL. He's playing stat-wise like it, but if you look at it, he's getting forced the ball. They're really and Sean McVay is a genius on drawing up plays to get a guy that runs a 4.6 the ball. But the one thing I do say, when you started comparing Detroit and the Rams, you forgot about the backfield. Calvin Williams and Blake Corum is turning that ball over way more than they should be compared to Montgomery and Gibbs, which if you can't tell me you wouldn't take
big edge. Big edge over
Kyron and
that's Blake. The best backfield. That's the best backfield in football. Give me that backfield all day long compared to any other backfield in football.
So what wins them championships? A good running game and not turning the ball over. And Kyron Williams and Blake Corum is turning that ball over. But Kyron Williams blew the game. He blew the game.
He hasn't like been off the charts this season, but you're right. They have a great run. They have a great run attack, but the Rams can counter it with arguably one of the best run defenses in football right now. So if you can counter it, we saw what the Packers did when they shut down Gibbs and Montgomery. The Lions folded. Granted, it was game one with new coordinators. There's reasons why besides just that, but when they couldn't get the run game going, they were toast. They couldn't do jack shit. No receivers had 70 yards until garbage time. When the Rams having one of the best run defenses in football right now, that's another reason why as good as that backfield is, if you can just kind of shut them down, slow them down, and Brewers just hit another home run. Come on. 4-3 Brewers go up. Oh, this is going to hurt if I have to listen back to this tomorrow and they lose. But
and they lose. Yeah, that's really impressive.
God damn it. But yeah, I mean, I think we're on the same page because like I said, Lions were my number 2. They're looking really good despite the new coordinators and everything. But Rams, man, when Stafford's balling and when he's got McVay's cooking, that team looks really, really dangerous right now, man. And you're right. Yeah, McVay.
I just got to listen. I'm going to tell you, and it's not you, Austin, but I keep seeing this Puka Nacua, the best receiver. Cooper Kupp did the same thing. Understand that this is Sean McVay's scheme. Come on now. Everybody said Cooper Kupp, oh, he's the best. What has he done since the Triple Crown year?
True, just got hurt. That's it. It pretty much just keeps getting hurt. How about this?
No.
How about this? The other, I do say I wouldn't call Puka the best receiver in football right now. I would still give that to Chase or Jefferson. You put them on any competent football team with a competent quarterback, those are the 2 best receivers in football.
CeeDee Lamb.
CeeDee Lamb too. He's a freak. Puka, the one thing he does that none of those dudes do is he's an elite blocker and adds to that run game tremendously. And I shared it in my clip with Puka last week, a couple of his clips of him run blocking and taking dudes out of the field, and you see Kyron Williams busting up the seam right behind him. That's not something that Jamar Chase or Jefferson or CeeDee Lamb are doing to contribute to the offensive success, and that matters. And Puka's become as reliable as a get a bucket, just throw the ball to him on third down if you need a first down, as anyone. He don't drop shit. His efficiency, and you're right, he's got volume numbers. He's got inflated volume numbers because they're force-feeding him the ball. And that offense is on the field a lot. But it all comes down to like why, again, I'm just taking the Rams. When that offense is on the field a lot, that's a problem. For sure. Even the 49ers game, I can't believe that Mac Jones still beat them. But, I think Rams, Lions. Where would you put the Rams?
Close.
You put them above or below the Packers?
I put them below the Packers and below the Eagles. Okay. I like their defense. I like their front 4. I think Stafford he's still, so he got a gifted arm. When he released, he has one of the best release, and just that ball comes out of his hand still. It's just that he's older. He's one hit away from this being hurt. He limped in this season, so he's one hit away. So I'm going Detroit, Green Bay, Philly, then the Rams.
We got the same top 4. Different order, same top 4.
Yeah.
Buccaneers we can't discount. And I'm going to throw this one out there. I don't think they stand a chance in contending, but we got to give some love to the Atlanta Falcons. Statistically, I saw this today. Statistically, the Falcons have the number 1 defense in football right now.
Wow.
And you go look it up. Their defense is allowing nothing. Like, they've had an incredible defense. The offense is slowly ascending. Penix is getting better. They already got London. They got Pitts. They got Bijan. They got a good backup in Algier. The old line's playing well. So that team's ascending, man. I got to give it to the Falcons. I did not think that defense was going to be this good this early, but their defense is crushing people, and they got talent on offense. So don't write them out yet. In that division, Buccaneers are good, but they're winning all their games in the final drives, which is important, but they're beatable. And they're kind of letting teams hang around to the very last minute. Hence, they've won 4 of their 5 games in game-winning drives this year, which is impressive. But Falcons, man.
I'm watching them. I'm definitely watching them. So
we see you.
I'll keep. I got about maybe 4 or 5 teams. It's probably right at that 5th place that I think Maye can go there. But we'll see how the season keep going.
All right, let's kick it over to we'll wrap it up with some college football topics to expand on real quick. We got to start Texas Penn State. We got 2 big fraud alerts. Huge alarms blasting type fraud alerts on Texas and Penn State, the number 1 and number 2 teams to start the season. Number 1 and 2 ranked teams are no longer ranked in the top 25 in college football. And I think we got to have a debate who is ultimately the bigger fraud. this season. And I'll let you go first, but let me give you some context to think about here, Iman. It's time to start talking about Steve Sarkisian the same way we talk about James Franklin in terms of being an absolute choke artist in the biggest games. He is 2-8 versus top 10 teams as Texas head coach, and he's 5-18 versus top 10 teams all time. Last season, he played one SEC team who finished the season ranked, and he lost to that team twice. Now he's got the loss to the unranked Florida. Both quarterbacks have not lived up to the hype that, not even close. Drew Aller and Arch Manning both came into the season as potential early round picks, Heisman favorites, and both of them are looking at CFL contracts at this point. Texas, at least, I'll give this to Texas. They at least have their defense going for them. They still have a very elite defense, whereas, and you've talked about Katron Allen and that backfield in Penn State, but they're not even remotely a top running team. So, and they haven't been shit pumped by a winless UCLA yet. So who are you taking as the bigger fraud this season?
I just off of those numbers, and even before you said that, Sark has to be the most overrated, big time, gets all this credit as this genius for offense, and he knows all, he hasn't won shit unless he was in Alabama and he was an OC then. Listen, you didn't Washington. Anybody can win in Washington. Let's be clear. Everybody and anybody who has any effort goes to Washington and win because there's so much talent in the Northwest. People don't understand how much talent that Washington can bring in. So Steve Sarkisian is clearly, because nobody expects James Franklin to do anything. Everybody was saying this year that Texas were the odds favorite for the champions. They're going to the playoff. They're spending $25 million on the roster. Archie Manning is the Heisman Trophy. Their offense stinks. Sarkisian is probably back on them pills because you know he's had issues with popping the pills and drinking.
Yeah. Hey, ask any Washington fan. They're well aware. Pop
them pills and drink. So I think he's on a hot seat. And before I go, is this thing on? Because Austin, just clip this up. 4 coaches who need to be fired this year because all of y'all are fraud, not just Penn State and Texas. Okay. 4 coaches who should be fired this year. 1, James Franklin. 2, Steve Sarkisian. 3, the great Deion Primetime Sanders. Get him the fuck out of here. And last, Bill Belichick has to go. UNC looks terrible.
UNC is dog shit, man.
Terrible. So,
oh my God.
Not only Penn State and Texas are frauds, but Colorado, I've been saying it for 3 years now. Deion does not know what he's doing. He's just lost in the sauce. He had an NFL quarterback and a Heisman Trophy. That's why I made it look like that. But getting back on topic, Steve Sarkisian is looking bad. And that's just because we don't expect James Franklin to win the big ones. Nobody in America but Penn State fans expect him to win. We expected Steve Sarkisian this year because that's what everybody was saying. This is the year he's going to get it done. He's not even going to make the playoffs because they're going to lose maybe 2 more games.
They're 3-2. They're already done.
They're going to lose 2 more games. I don't know. I think a two-loss team may get in if they run the table.
They ain't going to do it.
You don't think? I mean, well, no, I don't think they're going to run the table at all. But I think they're going to lose 2 to 3 more games. So, but I think if they run the table, they'll get in the playoffs.
Just not happening. Arch Manning it's just bad. And oh my God, the Bill Belichick, this last UNC game was Clemson murdered them. 3 first quarter touchdowns. You had UNC players walking on plays that ended up being touchdowns because they just quit on the play like twice. That team is cooked, man. I don't know what's going on there, but that ain't a Bill Belichick defense. That ain't a Bill Belichick team. I don't know what the fuck's going on. Maybe Bill Belichick's girl.
Too much credit, no, Austin.
Maybe his girl's running the team like she's running his life now. I don't know, man.
He's never won outside of Tom Brady. Let's be clear.
That's facts.
It's Tom Brady. We seeing it now that for years it's Tom Brady, and nobody ever wanted to come out and disrespect him. I get it because he still won, but it's Tom Brady. But Bill Belichick and his son is fucking terrible too.
Yeah. He was bad at Washington. He didn't last at Washington for more than a second. Man, Washington Huskies, that is. Let's stick in the SEC, right? So it's been kind of a whirlwind, interesting time in the SEC. A lot of good programs, a lot of interesting games, a lot of really fucking good games coming up to end the season now. But I don't know who the SEC team is to beat. We can kind of go through and maybe land on one. Obviously, I think we've kind of said Texas has moved into irrelevant territory in this topic. Georgia lost to Bama again. They can't beat them. Bama lost to Florida State. LSU lost to Ole Miss. Texas A&M and Missouri remain unbeaten, and Missouri has Bama next. So there's a couple of teams that we could go with here. A lot of good ones. I think the team that no one's really talking about enough is Missouri. Granted, they've played some pretty dog shit teams so far. But if you look into what Missouri is doing this season, they are shit pumping everyone, right? Missouri has allowed the second fewest points per game in the nation. They've allowed the fewest rush yards per game. They are fourth in yards per game, seventh in points per game. And like I said, they've done it against a bunch of garbage, and I'm not exactly ready to buy into Missouri yet. As much as they're like in the top 5 across the board, they've dominated everyone. You're supposed to dominate the bad teams, and they have absolutely done that. But I got to see what they do against Bama first before I'm going to go with Missouri as the team to beat. I'm going to go Ole Miss on this one, as right now they're the team to beat. They're number 4 in the nation. They just beat LSU, who has had one of the most elite defense. Say what you will about their offense. It's dog shit. We had an LSU fan on the show last week say how bad that team is on offense, how much LSU fans are so sick of Brian Kelly and are willing to chip in for the Brian Kelly buyout, it seems like. So they're done with him. They're done with the offense. They're done with Nussmeier, but that defense has been outstanding, and Ole Miss took care of business. If you can take care of business against that LSU defense, I got a bit of love for you, right? They currently rank ahead of Bama and Georgia in a ton of metrics. They're dominating them both in yards per game. They have more points per game, as many yards per game as Bama. They have as many rush yards per game as Georgia. And Georgia hasn't been like a world beater on defense like of previous years. They're not like that same something. They're just not the same Georgia as previous. And like we talked about him. You talk about Trinidad Chambliss. Their quarterback at Ole Miss is balling the fuck out right now. He's playing unbelievable football. So give me him at quarterback. Give me Lane Kiffin, what he's got cooking on that team. I'm going Ole Miss right now as like the team to beat. They got a tough schedule coming up. Oklahoma's a fair contender. The former, Big 12 teams? Kind of like Missouri, Oklahoma. There's a couple Big 12 teams holding up the SEC right now. Crazy enough. But I'm going Ole Miss. Challenge me. What you got?
I hate to say it. I just think Kalen DeBoer actually has got it together now. He's figured this Alabama thing out, and we know he can win with just Washington. So I think he has the pedigree, the offense, and I think he has one of the best quarterbacks to starting to show best quarterbacks. And see, I'm big on just football is a quarterback game. So I'm going with Alabama. Yeah, I'm going with Alabama, but I'm listen, Texas A&M.
Yeah.
Listen, I think they're still a little young, so I'm not sure if just College Station is ready for winning, but if I didn't say Alabama just because of the legacy, and I think those kids in Alabama are starting to realize, hey, we don't want to be the kids that lost the Alabama legacy. So I think Alabama will win the SEC, but I think here, just creeping in here, Texas A&M, they look good. So I got to see them versus the big dogs first and see where they're going to go. But I'm not sure if Texas A&M couldn't win the SEC this year because, I mean, just their quarterback, Reed, is just outstanding. So I'm with you with Ole Miss, though. Ole Miss is scary. Ole Miss is really scary offensively. So
they're not bad on defense. They're not great on defense, but they're certainly not bad. And Alabama was my team. I was kind of spending a bit of time going between Ole Miss and Alabama because I didn't want to admit that Bama isn't as bad as they look to start the season
at all.
And I love that they're giving Caden Proctor, the big fella involved on offense, the big 300-pound fella's getting the ball. I love seeing it. I love it. And Ty Simpson, I was not ready to buy into Ty Simpson. I thought he was just another Alabama quarterback that, hey, he's a good Alabama quarterback, but ultimately this is not a pro quarterback. And it seems like he keeps getting better. He's improving. Obviously, Ryan Williams is a freak threat any game. He can just pop off for 200 yards if he wants to, and they got 5 stars everywhere, man. So It's hard not to. Georgia, though, I mean, and Oklahoma, too. John Mateer going down really hurt their chances for me because John Mateer was probably the Heisman front runner when he went down. So Oklahoma still is a very, 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 very good football team. SEC is going to be tight at the top, man. It's going to be tight. Tennessee's no fluff either, no joke.
Yeah, they're playing.
The fucks with Vanderbilt. they're playing football. I mean, but yeah, SEC's tight. I don't know. Ole Miss, Bama. I think. Where would you put Ole Miss then? Curious.
Oh, I would go Bama, Ole Miss, Texas A&M. So, I just didn't want to say Ole Miss with you, but I would go Bama, Ole Miss. Texas. No, not Texas. I mean, I would go Bama, Ole Miss, Georgia, then Texas A&M.
I was gonna see what you're gonna say. If you're gonna put Georgia ahead of them.
Yeah, Kirby is just he knows how to win.
Yeah, man. I can't discount Georgia.
Yeah, when you got I think just good coaching and good quarterback play is football now. And sometimes when you just got a good coach, they'll figure it out. I mean, I think the SEC is still not as good as the top Big Ten right now because I just think Ohio State and Oregon are just the two best teams in college football right now. So I still think SEC is not as dominant as they used to say. They got all the talent, but I think the best two teams in college football is Oregon and Ohio State.
And Oregon might just have the best quarterback in the nation right now. Dante Moore is playing his ass off. That transitions well into the final topic today. Who really is the team to beat in college football? It comes down to maybe three teams. I mean, the Miami Hurricanes are looking outstanding.
Yeah.
Oregon's looking really good. And, of course, you got Ohio State, who has just been menacing on defense. So Miami continues their run of dominance this season and has its highest ranking since the end of its last big run in 2001-2002 season. So Miami's back. The Hurricane is back. They are the best. They're an ACC team, so we can't forget that. Are we taking them over Ohio State? And here's a couple things, some context. They have the better resume of wins so far. They've beaten Notre Dame to start the year, right? They beat Florida when Florida was ranked before we knew Florida was going to be dog shit this year. And they beat Florida State, who they're still no joke right now, even though they've kind of slowed down. Ohio State beat down on a clearly incapable Texas offense with Arch Manning to start the year. And their next best win has come against a talented yet unranked Washington Huskies this last weekend. Like they just beat them. They didn't dominate them by any stretch. Ohio State or Washington's defense sucks and surprisingly held up pretty strong against Ohio State, which was surprising to see. And it was more, again, just Washington was always going to kind of lose that game. But who are you taking? Is it Miami? Is it Ohio State? Is it Oregon?
So I needed to pull up because I know in the college playoff, you usually play the first couple of rounds, like in Florida and domes. But I wonder where is Miami ever going to have to play like late in the college playoff against Ohio State somewhere where it's going to be cold? Because I know last year it was some cold games in the playoff. If Miami can play in Florida, they're going to be a problem. But now Carlson Beck, to me, I don't know. I think, offensively, I think they can hang with anybody, but I just think Ohio State's defense is just stifling. I mean, and I don't think Carlson Beck will see that type of talent in the ACC, and I think it may be shocking how they fly to the ball and just the scheme that Coach Pencil got. I'm taking Ohio State. But I'm really impressed by Carson Beck this year, man. I'm glad he's bringing his career back because I do remember when they were saying he was going to be the number one. Then he had an off year. He was supposed to be the front runner, Heisman. So I'm glad that his career is kind of back. He found somebody that kind of trusts in him. Going to kind of let him just grab the vehicle by the wheels and go. But no, I'm taking Ohio State and Oregon over everybody.
Yeah, I'm kind of, as much as it's hard to go against Miami at this point, like you said about Matt Patricia with that Ohio State defense that is a world beater defense this season. And we know what wins the big games. We know what wins in the playoffs. It's the team with the world beater defense, and that world beater defense just happens to have a multi-time Super Bowl winning coach leading it. Not to mention they got the best player in the country, Jeremiah Smith. I think Jeremiah Smith, we're entering a draft coming up where I don't think any quarterback is worth a first, second, or third pick in the draft. The first pick in the next coming draft should be Jeremiah Smith, and it shouldn't even be a fucking question. That is a freak human being. I think that is your next like Jamar Chase type echelon of talent in the NFL. So they got that guy. Julian Sainz playing really nice. Again, Washington was his first away game. He played pretty all right. It's just a well-coached football team. Best defense in the nation. I really need to see Oregon, Ohio State at the end of this year in the worst way. That is the game. I think that's the. Do they play each other on the schedule? Because I know Penn State and Ohio State
they played last year, so
they got
I guess they'll see in the Big Ten title game if they both get there. Yeah, they'll get there in the
Big Ten title game. So we got Oregon, Washington, November 29th will be fun. But yeah, I think I'm going Oregon, Ohio State, same thing. Joey, anything to add on this?
Oh, I'm just jumping in because I'll be at Ohio State, Illinois this weekend. So watch out for your Ohio State picks as they get their ass kicked by Illinois. And
I hope you got your drinks ready, Joey. You're going to need them.
Tequila and glizzies. I told us it didn't go as fast as I thought, but it got to them. But listen, Joey, get your tequila margaritas ready.
I know. I might have to. They just started serving alcohol and champagne now at football games, so it's a good change. Especially when
how
you
we
play
feeling
top
about
teams.
this Brewers game? We got Mizorowski out here throwing gas. 104 miles per hour this guy's touching. Holy shit,
he's unbelievable.
That's fast.
like I know I've seen him pitch this year against the Cubs, but I'm like, this is a different version of this dude. It is nasty.
I saw he got a strikeout with a slider. That has not happened much. And if he can get his off speed working just a slight bit, so teams can't just sit fastball, man, is he a problem? Now you got your guy in who with Palencia, what's his name? Another guy throwing 100 miles an hour. The amount of dudes in baseball throwing 100 miles per hour right now is stupid. We used to live in a time where 95 miles per hour was like, oh my God, like I was alive for that. It wasn't that long ago. And now it's got dudes touching 100 like deep into the game, like a couple innings into pitching, which is nuts. Brewers up 4-3, bottom of 4 right now. We'll see tomorrow. We'll see when we're done recording this. Yeah,
when it drops.
I might be speaking something different, but hey, this is one of those games. Brewers bats just keep doing what Brewers bats do, and Cubs pitching is just gonna have to be gritty and hit their spots, even though he just hit a Brewer instead of their spot, so that's a problem. All right, but I think that is. You guys got anything else to add for the rest of the show today? Iman, you got anything else you gonna wrap with?
Glad I'm back. Sorry I missed y'all last Friday, but I'm back, people. I'm not going anywhere.
No, never. All right. Hey, we will see you all then on Friday. Have a great rest of your week. Watch some baseball. Watch some football. Until then, we will see you.